So our continuum of supports, obviously, we've had a change in terminology. Prior to working with you folks, all of our schools had pyramids of intervention.
Yeah.
And that change in language into, okay, how are we going to support people with our tier 1 universal supports? And now you can make all sorts of great pyramids of support. Is it a living, breathing document that's actually used? It's easy to create one. It's easy to copy off of someone. But is it something that you use? And kind of like what I was saying with data. Great, we're doing all this stuff. Well, you might as well use it if you have it. And so, for an example, when I'm going in and doing an observation with a teacher, I have a checklist of our tier 1 supports. And it's not that I'm saying, hey, you've done this, this, and this. I like to check to see which ones people have done, and then that forms part of our discussion. Yeah. When we start having meetings, specifically as you're moving up the structure into student support services about a kid, and now maybe you're involving a teacher to support them, well, what were those strategies we were using in our universal tier 1?
Yeah.
What were the ones we need to do in tier 2? We have a young boy in our school that we got, and he had been suspended 8 times when he was at grade 6 at a different town. And we would look at this, and we knew that this boy was going to need some incredible supports. He was going to need a behavior support plan. He was going to need all sorts of things. And now, what are these other things that we can try that are listed up here? And when we had the student, we didn't know the background information, and he ended up going into a second-year teacher's classroom. If I know that information beforehand, maybe I give that student to one of my more experienced teachers, but we didn't. And so I have this second-year teacher who's working with a very complex child who has all sorts of needs. And so here are the universal things that you can do. Here's this tier 2 supports. And just because they're here, it doesn't mean they're going to work.
That's right.
Let's try it. And now let's meet and let's evaluate. And what I'm talking about now is that case consult meeting, that 4th layer about one child. And if you don't have those strategies listed in your pyramid of support, it's really hard to go to it, right? And so it's there. Are my teachers looking at it every day? No, but is it something that we go back to? Is it something that we refer to? Yes, and it's there. And it's there in our handbook. It's there, and I've given it to them. And even that journey has evolved. Yeah. Because it was a pyramid of supports. And then it's like, okay, we need to separate some of this. So we have our academic pyramid of supports. And then we started to develop a behavioral pyramid of supports.
Yep.
And one that we've been working on now has been an attendance pyramid of support, because that was one of the things that we identified in our school education plan that we really needed to improve. Because in our data, what we were finding out was our teachers do a really good job, but the kids who are missing a lot of school, they're getting bad results. And you can't teach a child who isn't here. So what are we collectively going to do? What is in our control as opposed to being helpless? Well, the kid doesn't show up. What do you want me to do? Well, this is what we can do. This is what is in our control. This is the non-negotiable that I need my staff to do when we have a child or children who are regularly missing.
Yeah.
And so those pyramid of supports, they help align everyone in terms of what the expectation is. Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a master teacher who's created a rubric which is visible to their students so that they clearly understand what the success criteria is so they can move towards it. And because I have those pyramids of support, it allows my teachers to understand this is the expectation of what we need to try to do and how I can help you if you're struggling with one of them. Well, and it just creates a structure and somewhere to go.